gifted my stepsister her dream bike. The very next day, all I got was this cake.
I never thought a birthday could change the way I saw my own family, but that morning I felt something shift inside me. I kept telling myself I was overthinking it, but deep down I knew I wasn't. My name is Ethan Miller, and at 19 I already felt like a guest in my own house. Ever since Dad married Linda, everything felt arranged around her daughter, Ashley. She was the star, the favorite, the one who always got what she wanted, and I was the kid who tried not to get in the way. When I walked into the living room that day, I heard laughter before I even saw anything. "Ethan, look at this," Dad said, waving me over like I was supposed to be excited. Linda stood beside him, smiling like she had won something. And there it was, Ashley's brand new dream bike, shiny blue paint, chrome handles, and a price tag I could feel even without seeing. Ashley squealed, hugging them both like she had just been crowned queen. I forced a smile, even though my chest felt tight. All I could think was, of course, it's always her. I stood there pretending I was part of the moment, but no one was looking at me. Dad kept talking about how hard he had worked to afford the bike, and Ashley kept repeating how perfect it was. Linda glanced at me only once, saying, "Ethan, don't look so tired. It's not your day." I laughed it off, but inside I felt something sting. I wanted to say something, anything, but the words stuck. I just walked to the kitchen, grabbed water, and listened to their happy voices echo like I didn't exist. That night, I heard them laughing in the living room again. I tried to ignore it, but then I heard Linda say, "Boys like Ethan don't expect much. Simple gifts make them happy." Dad laughed with her. I froze in the hallway, my hand gripping the wall as if the house itself was slipping away from me. Ashley added, "He should be grateful he even gets anything." I bit my tongue so hard it hurt. Hearing them talk about me like I was some stray they picked up made something inside me twist into anger. The next morning, I woke up hoping things would feel different, even though I knew they wouldn't. It was my birthday, but the house was quiet. When I walked into the kitchen, there was a small cake on the table, still in the plastic box from the grocery store. Dad looked up and said, "Happy birthday, son," like he was reading it off a script. Linda nodded, but didn't stop scrolling her phone. Ashley walked in, saw the cake, and smirked. "Cute," she said. I forced myself to sit down, even though the silence felt heavier than the room itself. "Dad, is this all?" I asked quietly. He frowned. "Ethan, don't start. We're doing our best." Linda added, "Be grateful, okay? Not everyone gets something." I looked at the cake, then at them. "I'm not asking for anything big. I just thought," Ashley interrupted. "Thought what?" "That you'd get a bike too." I swallowed hard. "No. I just thought maybe someone would remember." Dad sighed. "We remembered. Stop being dramatic." My hands curled into fists under the table. I didn't want to cry, so I just whispered, "I'm going to school," and walked out before my voice broke. At school, I tried to act normal, but every sound felt distant, like I was underwater. I kept replaying their voices in my head until my stomach hurt. When people said happy birthday, I barely reacted. I didn't want to explain anything. When I got home later, the cake was still sitting there, untouched, like it was waiting to remind me what I meant to them. Dad asked if I wanted to cut it together, but I just shook my head. "I'm tired," I said. Linda muttered something about me being ungrateful. Ashley didn't even look up. I went to my room and stared at the ceiling, feeling something dark settle inside me. I lay there for a long time, listening to the faint hum of the house. Their voices drifted down the hall again, soft laughs, plates clinking, the life I was never really part of. I thought about the bike, the cake, the things they said when they thought I wasn't listening. For the first time, I felt something colder than sadness. It was the feeling of waking up. Maybe this is how it will always be, I whispered to myself. But then another thought pushed in, sharper, clearer. Or maybe it won't. I didn't know what would come next, but I knew one thing. Something had changed in me forever. I woke up hoping the house might feel different, but the moment I stepped into the kitchen, I knew it wouldn't. Dad looked up with a tired smile and said, "Morning, Ethan. Happy birthday." His voice sounded like someone reminding themselves not to forget. Linda slid a plate toward me and muttered, "Don't make that face." We tried. I hadn't said anything yet. Ashley walked in next, glanced at me, and said, "Wow, still eating breakfast alone on your birthday?" I forced a calm breath. "I'm not alone. You're here," I replied. She smirked. "Not by choice." Dad pointed at the cake on the counter. "We'll cut it tonight, okay? I stared at the small package. Sure, I said quietly. Linda crossed her arms. You're 19, Ethan. Don't act like a child who didn't get what he wanted. I looked up slowly. I never asked for anything. Ashley laughed. Exactly. And that's why you get small things. Low expectations make life easier. My chest tightened, but I stayed silent. Dad tapped the table. Eat something before school. I pushed the plate back. I'll grab something on the way. When I stepped outside, I exhaled like I'd been holding my breath for hours. At school, the noise felt distant, like everyone was speaking through water. I didn't want to talk to anyone, not even Ryan. But he spotted me by the lockers anyway. Dude, what's with your face? He asked. I shrugged. Nothing. Just tired. He raised an eyebrow. Liar. What happened now? I leaned against the wall. They gave Ashley a bike yesterday. Thousands of dollars. And today I got a cake. Ryan blinked. Wait, that's all. I nodded. They said I should be grateful. Ryan shoved his hands in his pockets. Bro, that's messed up. I didn't want to hear it out loud, but he was right. It's fine, I said. It's whatever. He shook his head. No, it's not whatever. And you want to know something worse? I frowned. What? He hesitated, then said, Ashley posted online about how she stole your dad's attention easy. She was bragging about it. For a moment, I stopped breathing. What do you mean? Ryan said, she literally said she likes proving she's the favorite. Like it's some game. I looked at the floor, my stomach turning. She said that publicly? He nodded. Yeah. She deleted it later, but I saw it. I clenched my jaw. Of course she did. Ryan stepped closer. Ethan, you good? I forced a laugh. No. But I will be. He studied my face. You want to come over later? I shook my head. No. I need to go home. I need to think. The rest of the day felt like a blur. I couldn't focus in class. Every time someone said happy birthday, I smiled automatically, but inside I felt hollow. When the final bell rang, I walked home slowly, replaying Ryan's words in my mind. Stole your dad's attention on purpose. Why would she enjoy something like that? Why would my own family laugh about me like I was a joke? Walking through the front door, I tried to keep my expression neutral. Linda looked up from the couch. You're late. Did you go out celebrating? I shook my head. No, Ashley peeked from the kitchen. Ah, did nobody wish you? Poor Ethan. I didn't respond. Dad stood up. We'll cut the cake after dinner. Don't disappear. I nodded mechanically. Yeah, sure. After dinner, I went to my room instead of waiting in the kitchen. I didn't want to hear anyone's voices. I sat on my bed, staring at the wall, trying to understand how it all got this bad without me noticing. Maybe I ignored everything because I wanted to believe things would get better. Maybe I hoped they'd eventually see me. But the truth was written in every moment I'd lived here. They never saw me at all. Voices drifted down the hallway. I didn't mean to listen, but one sentence cut through the air like a blade. Ashley said, He doesn't deserve anything nice, Mom. He just acts like he does. Linda laughed softly. He should be thankful we even remembered. My hands curled into fists. Dad didn't say anything. Maybe he agreed, maybe he didn't, but silence felt like agreement. I stepped closer to my door, pressing my forehead against it. My heart pounded so hard I felt dizzy. Ashley's voice rose again. I swear, Mom, the way he looked at the cake this morning? So dramatic. Like he expected something real. Linda replied, That boy always expects more than he should. He needs to understand his place. Something in me snapped, clean and sharp, like glass breaking. I whispered to myself, So that's how they see me. All day, I'd been swallowing things I didn't want to feel, pretending everything was okay. But hearing her say I didn't deserve anything, that was different. That was the line they shouldn't have crossed. I sat on the edge of my bed, breathing slowly as the anger settled into something quieter, something colder. I wasn't sure what it meant yet, but I knew one thing for certain. I would never look at them the same way again. I couldn't sleep that night. My mind kept replaying everything. Ashley laughing at me, Linda calling me ungrateful, Dad staying silent through it all. I tried to close my eyes, but the silence felt heavy, like the house itself was squeezing the breath out of me. I got up to get water, thinking maybe the walk would calm me, but when I reached the stairs, I heard voices coming from the living room. Dad's voice was low. Linda, I don't know what to do anymore. I feel guilty. I froze halfway down the steps. Linda sighed loudly. Guilty about what? Dad hesitated. About Ethan. I know I don't treat him the way a father should. My heart thumped so hard I thought he might hear it. Linda laughed softly. Michael, stop. Ethan will manage. He always manages. Dad exhaled. But still he barely smiles. I can tell he's hurting. Linda's tone sharpened. Because he's too sensitive. We're doing enough. Focus on Ashley. She's our real priority. I gripped the railing, so tightly my fingers hurt. Real priority. The words echoed in my head like someone had punched me. Dad whispered, but he's my son. And Ashley is our daughter, Linda snapped. Be practical. Ethan's older. He can handle life. Ashley needs us more. Stop splitting your attention. Dad didn't argue. He just sighed and said, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Those words stabbed deeper than anything I'd heard before. My chest felt hollow, like everything inside me had fallen apart at once. I backed away from the stairs slowly, afraid they'd hear the sound of my heart breaking. In my room, I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall. For the longest time, I thought Dad just didn't know how to show emotion. I told myself he was stressed or confused or tired. But now I knew. He didn't choose me. He never did. When the sun rose, I felt like a ghost walking through the house. Dad was already in the kitchen. Morning, he said, trying to sound cheerful. I nodded. Morning. I watched him butter his toast like everything was normal. I sat down across from him. Dad, can I ask something? He took a sip of coffee. Sure. I kept my voice calm. Do you ever feel like you treat Ashley better than me? He froze for a second. Ethan, what makes you say that? I shrugged. Just wondering. Dad forced a smile. Of course not. I love you both. I stared at his eyes. They didn't match his voice. Really? Yes, he said quickly. Too quickly. I leaned back. Okay. He looked relieved, which annoyed me even more. He didn't even bother to ask why I brought it up. He just wanted the conversation over. Linda walked in. Are you two done? I need the table. I stood up. Yeah, I'm leaving. Dad frowned. Going where? Out, I said. Just out. He didn't stop me. Outside, the cold air hit my face, but I barely felt it. I walked aimlessly through town, past the bakery, the bus stop, the small park. My mind ran through every memory I could think of. Times I tried to impress Dad, times I waited for him to show up at school events, times he forgot my birthday, times he defended Ashley, but let me handle things alone. I muttered to myself. I should have seen it. It was always obvious. I kicked a small rock on the sidewalk, watching it bounce away. I kept hoping for something that was never there. I sat on a bench near the park, watching cars pass. A little kid rode by on a small bike, laughing as his mom cheered. I felt a sharp ache in my chest. Not because of the bike, because of how she looked at her kid. Proud, warm, present. Something Dad hadn't been for me in years. My phone buzzed. A text from Ryan. You good? I typed back. Not really, but I'm thinking. He replied immediately. Come over. I stared at the screen, then turned it off. I didn't want anyone to see me like this. Not broken, not confused. I needed time alone. As I walked back home, the storm inside me only grew stronger. It wasn't loud or wild. It was cold, focused, like something inside me was shifting, hardening. By the time I reached the front door, I felt strangely calm, almost numb. I stepped into the house quietly. Ashley was in the hallway, talking loudly on the phone. Yeah, he's being dramatic again. He always wants attention. She laughed. He should just move out already. She didn't see me. Maybe it was better she didn't. I went to my room, closed the door slowly, and sat on my bed. For the first time, the thought didn't feel like fear. It felt like clarity. Maybe I really should leave. Or maybe it's time I stopped staying quiet. Either way, something inside me had snapped. And I knew there was no going back. I'm fine. That's all I say for 3 days. Nothing more. Nothing less. I moved through the house like a shadow, quiet, distant, untouchable. I watched them, study them, memorize every reaction while pretending not to care. On the third morning, Ashley snaps. Hello. Did you not hear me? I said bring me the charger. I don't look at her. Get it yourself. Her jaw drops. Excuse me. You heard me. I walk past her, calm, steady, quiet inside. She mutters something under her breath, but I don't turn around. Not anymore. At lunch, Dad tries. Everything okay with you? Perfect, I answer, sipping water. You're acting strange. Maybe you're just noticing for the first time. He blinks, confused, like I'm speaking a language he doesn't know. Linda rolls her eyes. She's being dramatic again. Ignore it. I smile at the table, not at them. Sure. Ignore it. Works for everyone. That night, I walk out instead of staying trapped in walls that don't hear me. The cold air feels like oxygen I've been denied for too long. When I reach the cafe, the bell rings and Ryan spots me immediately. You look like someone who hasn't slept since dinosaurs existed, he says, sliding into the seat across from me. I've been thinking. That's dangerous, he jokes, then softens. Talk to me. I'm done reacting. I'm done crying. I'm done being the punching bag. So what's the plan? I don't have one yet. Good, he says. Because if you had one already, it'd probably be reckless. Let's build something that actually saves you. I exhale. Saves me from who? From whoever keeps breaking you. I stare at the table, fingers tapping nervously. I can't stay forever. Then don't, he says, simple as breathing. Leave. Or change everything. But choose. That's harder than you make it sound. Everything sounds hard until someone does it, he replies. Start small. Make money. Build independence. Control one thing at a time. His certainty steadies me. Where do I even work? I talked to my manager, he says. She needs part-time help. Evenings. Cash handling, stocking, basic stuff. You want it? You're joking. Nope. Show up tomorrow. She'll test you. If she likes you, you're in. I sit back, stunned. Ryan, why are you helping me? Because you deserve oxygen, not smoke. A laugh escapes me, pure surprise. That might be the weirdest compliment I've ever gotten. And yet true. I shake my head, but my chest feels lighter. Okay, I'll try. Good. And college. I'm not getting in anywhere without money. Scholarships exist, he says. Ever heard of them? They don't fall from the sky. He grins. No, but counselors do. He slides a card across the table. Emma Parker. Scholarship office. She's strict but fair. Book an appointment. You already got me a job and now a counselor? Don't thank me yet. She'll make you work like your life depends on it. Maybe it does. He nods slowly. So fight for it. I sit there thinking, replaying every cruel word, every dismissive sigh at home. The years of being invisible unless someone needed something. And for the first time, I feel something shift, an internal click, small but real. I'm tired of begging, I whisper. Then stop. I will. Good. When I return home, Linda is waiting in the living room. Where were you? I was out. Doing what? Living. What does that mean? Exactly what it sounds like. She shakes her head. Teenage attitude. Great. I shrug. Call it what you want. Ashley appears on the stairs. Are you seriously ignoring everyone now? Not ignoring, I say, walking past her. Choosing. Choosing what? My peace. She scoffs. You're so dramatic. Maybe, I say, but at least I'm not dependent on people I insult. Her eyes widen. Did you just? Yes, I answer, stepping into my room before she can finish. Dad knocks 5 minutes later. We need to talk. I'm busy. I said we need to talk. I open the door just enough to meet his eyes. Then talk. You're pulling away. I'm breathing. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. I don't like it. I know. I'm your father. And I'm your child, I say quietly, not your accessory. He flinches just a little. Where is this coming from? Years, I reply. But don't worry. I'm not asking anyone to fix me. What are you planning? To survive, I say. On my own terms. He steps back, processing, searching for something to say, but the door is already closing. That night, I fill out the job form Ryan sent me. Then I book an appointment with Emma Parker. My hands shake when I hit submit, but I don't stop. Not this time. For the first time in my life, the silence in my room feels powerful. Not empty, not painful, powerful. No more begging. No more chasing love like scraps. I will rise. Or I will leave. Either way, the choice is finally mine. I was pouring cereal when I heard the scream outside. I rushed to the window and saw Ashley on the ground, her brand new bike lying a few feet away, the wheel spinning uselessly. She was clutching her phone like it was more important than her scraped knee. Seriously, I muttered under my breath. Dad burst out the door. Ashley, what were you doing? She whimpered. Dad, I didn't see the curb. Linda snapped. Help her. Don't just stand there. I stepped outside slowly. You okay? Ashley glared at me. Why are you smiling? I'm not, I replied calmly. I just asked a question. Dad crouched beside her. Ashley, were you recording a video? Is that why? She cut him off quickly. No, of course not. But her screen was still recording, the timer blinking right there. Dad grabbed the phone. Ashley. She hissed. I said I wasn't. I crossed my arms. The camera thinks otherwise. Linda shot up. Stop accusing her. Ethan, you always bring negative energy into this house. I raised an eyebrow. I wasn't even here. You must have distracted her earlier, Linda insisted. I almost laughed. By eating breakfast inside? Ashley sniffled. He's jealous of my bike. He always has been. Dad said nothing, but the frustration on his face was impossible to miss. I spoke softly. I didn't touch the bike. I didn't talk to her. I didn't even know she was outside. Linda pointed at me like she'd solved a crime. Your attitude affects everyone. You walking around with this coldness, it creates tension. Mom. Ashley clutched her knee dramatically. Can we please go inside? Dad helped her stand. Let's get your knee cleaned up. As they walked in, Linda turned back toward me. You should apologize. For what? I asked. For existing with that tone, she snapped. I stayed quiet, refusing to rise to it. The old me would have swallowed the words, apologized, tried to keep peace. But not anymore. Inside, Ashley groaned on the couch. It hurt so bad. Dad cleaned the scrape gently. You're lucky it wasn't worse. Ashley pouted. It's your fault for not teaching me better. Dad looked up sharply. Ashley, you were making a video while riding. That's dangerous. I said I wasn't. I stepped forward. It's literally recorded. Linda waved her hand dismissively. Kids experiment. Don't blow it out of proportion. Dad sighed. Ashley, you're grounded. The word hit the room like thunder. She gasped. What? You never ground me. I should have done it sooner, Dad said quietly. Linda stood, furious. Michael, you can't just. I can, he said, surprising all of us. This was reckless. Ashley turned her glare on me again. He influenced you. Ethan wants me punished. I shook my head. I didn't say anything. She shouted. You wanted this. I stayed calm. Ashley, everything isn't about me. Dad rubbed his forehead. Enough. Ashley, go to your room. She stormed off, slamming the door, screaming something muffled and dramatic. Linda turned to me, eyes narrowed. You're enjoying this, aren't you? No, I answered. But I'm also not taking blame for things I didn't do. You talk back now, she said. You think a deep voice makes you brave? I didn't flinch. I think truth makes me brave. Dad looked at me, unsure. Ethan, you seem different. I'm just tired. That's all. Linda scoffed. You're being dramatic. Before I could respond, my phone rang. Emma's name flashed across the screen. I answered, hello. Ethan. I have news, Emma said, sounding cheerful. You passed the interview. The committee loved you. My chest tightened. Wait, seriously? Yes. They want to offer you the scholarship. Full support. I closed my eyes for a second. Thank you. Really. You earned it, she said. Paperwork arrives tomorrow. When I hung up, I stood silently, letting it sink in. Dad asked, everything okay? I nodded slowly. Yeah, actually it is. Linda narrowed her eyes. Who was that? Emma, from the scholarship office. Linda folded her arms. And, I got it, I said simply. Dad blinked. You did. Ethan, that's incredible. Linda forced a smile so stiff it almost cracked. Congrats. I looked at her. Thanks. Ashley's door flew open. What happened? Why are you all talking? Linda rushed to her. Nothing, honey. I spoke clearly. I got the scholarship. Ashley rolled her eyes. So, anyone can get a scholarship. Dad shook his head. Not this one. Ethan worked for it. Her face twisted. Why does he get things now? What about me? Linda held her shoulders. Baby, focus on your healing. Ashley sniffed dramatically. Everyone loves him now because I fell? I replied softly. No one said that. She jabbed a finger at me. You're acting like you're better than me. I stayed calm. I'm acting like me. Dad exhaled. Ashley, enough. She stomped back to her room. Linda muttered. This house is falling apart. I looked at her without blinking. Maybe it wasn't stable to begin with. She froze. Dad whispered. Ethan, why would you say that? Because it's true, I replied. And I'm done pretending it's not. The room went silent. Linda looked shaken. Dad looked conflicted. Ashley's muffled music blasted from her room. And me? I felt steady. For once, the weight wasn't on my shoulders. Karma had finally taken its seat, and I wasn't scared of anything anymore. The video exploded online faster than any of us expected. By morning, my notifications were full of people tagging me, asking if the girl in the viral Rich Princess Crash clip was really my stepsister. I didn't even open half of them. I just stared at the thumbnail, Ashley riding recklessly, posing for the camera, and crashing in slow motion while shouting, "My dad will buy me another one anyway." By the time I walked into the kitchen, the chaos had already started. Linda slammed her phone on the counter. Why are people calling her spoiled? She was just having fun. Dad rubbed his face. Because she said she didn't care. Because she filmed herself being reckless. Ashley stomped in. "Mom, delete it. Make them take it down." I sat at the table quietly. "You posted it publicly. You can't control the internet." Ashley shot me a death glare. "Don't talk like you know everything." "I know how posts work," I replied. Linda snapped. "You must be enjoying this." I shrugged slightly. I didn't want this to happen, but I didn't cause it. Ashley waved her phone. "People from school are messaging me. They're laughing." Dad sighed. "Ashley, we told you to be responsible." "No, you never did," she shouted. "You always say yes to me." Her words hung in the air like smoke. Linda rushed to her side. "Sweetheart, they're jealous." "They're not jealous." Ashley screamed. "They're right." Dad looked stunned. I just sipped water, letting the storm brew. Linda pointed at him bitterly. "This is your fault." He blinked. "Mine. You should have defended her," she shouted. "You're her father." Dad stepped back. "Linda, she's wrong. She messed up. The whole world saw it." "And what about Ethan?" Linda spat. "He sits there like he's better than us." I raised an eyebrow. "I'm literally sitting and eating toast." "Your silence is insulting," she snapped. Dad finally spoke up. "Linda, stop attacking him." She turned on him. "Why are you defending him now?" He yelled back, louder than I'd ever heard. "Because I should have done it years ago." The kitchen went silent. Ashley trembled. Linda froze. I stayed still, letting the truth echo. Dad looked at me with tired eyes. "Ethan, I'm sorry." Linda gasped. "Michael." He ignored her. "I should have been there for you. I should have cared. I should have tried." I swallowed. "Dad, you don't have to." "I do," he insisted, voice cracking. "I failed you." Linda crossed her arms. "This is ridiculous." Dad rounded on her. "No. What's ridiculous is how we treated him. What's ridiculous is pretending we were a perfect family while ignoring everything wrong." Ashley whispered. "Dad, you're choosing him over us?" "No," he said softly. "I'm admitting what's true." Linda scoffed. "Truth? You want truth?" "He resents this family." I looked at her. "I don't resent a family. I resent being the outsider." Ashley muttered, "Drama." I didn't look at her. "You made fun of me every day. You bragged about stealing Dad's attention. You mocked my birthday." She flinched like I'd slapped her. Linda tried to defend her. "She's just a kid. She's the same age I was when you expected me to grow up overnight," I replied. Dad sat down heavily. "Ethan, I'm sorry for every birthday I didn't show up for. Every time I brushed off how you felt. Every time I put," he glanced at Ashley, "someone else first." Ashley looked panicked. "Dad, stop apologizing to him. He's making you feel guilty." I shook my head, speaking gently. "I'm not making him do anything. He's doing this because he sees it now." Linda whispered harshly, "You manipulated everything." "No," I said calmly. "Your illusion is just falling apart." Ashley's breathing turned shaky. "Dad, I didn't mean what I posted. I didn't mean the things I said about Ethan. I was just joking." I met her eyes. "Were you joking when you said I didn't deserve anything nice?" She froze. "I didn't mean it like that," she stuttered. "You meant it because you felt safe saying it," I replied. "Now you feel scared, not sorry." Her lips trembled. "I am sorry." "No," I said softly. "You're embarrassed." Dad looked between us helplessly. "Ashley, you hurt him." She whispered. I didn't think he cared." I shook my head. "I cared too much. That was the problem." Linda growled under her breath. "This is enough." Dad finally stood tall. "No, Linda. This is the truth we ignored. And it's catching up." She glared. "So what now? We kneel before him? Beg for forgiveness?" I answered first. "I'm not asking for anything." Dad nodded slowly. "I just want change." Ashley wiped her eyes. "Can we fix it?" I looked at her carefully. "Fixing something takes honesty. Real honesty. Not fear." She glanced down. I don't know how." That's a start, I said quietly. Dad exhaled shakily. Ethan, I want to make things right. I nodded. I hear you. But in my chest, something felt different, lighter and heavier at the same time. His apology mattered, but it didn't erase the hurt. And for the first time, I understood something clearly. Some people apologize because they're guilty. Others apologize because they're scared. And I finally knew the difference. The email arrived early in the morning. Congratulations, Ethan Miller. Your scholarship has been approved. I stared at the screen for a long moment. Then I whispered, I did it. When I walked into the kitchen, Dad was already there. He looked tired, but softer somehow. Morning, he said carefully, like he was afraid I might walk away. Morning, I replied. He cleared his throat. You got the scholarship, right? Yeah, I said. Got the confirmation today. His eyes brightened. Ethan, that's amazing. I'm proud of you. Really proud. Thanks, I said. And I meant it. But I kept the distance I needed. Linda stepped in next, wearing a forced smile. Congratulations, Ethan. That's wonderful news. I nodded politely. Thanks, Linda. She hesitated, probably waiting for more. I didn't offer any. Ashley walked in slower than usual. She looked at me, then at her cereal, then back at me. So you're moving out? In a few days, I said. Oh, she swallowed. That fast? Yeah. Dad leaned forward. Ethan, if you need help packing, just tell me. I'll make time. I'm good, I said. I already started. Linda forced another smile. You know, we could do a little celebration dinner tonight. For your scholarship. I shook my head. It's okay. I have things to finish. She frowned slightly but didn't argue. Dad tried again. I'd like to talk later, if that's okay. We can talk, I said quietly. Just not about the past. I'm done living there. He nodded slowly. Fair enough. Later that evening, I was packing clothes when Dad knocked on my door. Can I come in? He asked. Yeah. He stepped inside, looking around my half-empty room. You're really leaving? I am. He took a deep breath. Ethan, I know I can't undo what happened. I can't erase the years I wasn't there like I should have been. I looked at him, waiting. But I want you to know something, he continued. I'm here now. Even if you don't want much from me. I'm here. I nodded slowly. I appreciate that. He sat on the edge of my bed. I don't expect forgiveness overnight. Maybe never. But I want to earn whatever space you'll let me have. I exhaled softly. I'm not angry anymore, Dad. I'm just done expecting anything. His voice cracked. I wish you hadn't had to learn to stop expecting from your own father. It's okay, I said. I'm moving forward. He rubbed his face. If you ever need help, call me. Please. I will. For the first time, the silence between us didn't feel heavy. It felt honest. When he left, Ashley appeared at my door, arms crossed. Can we talk? She asked. Sure. She stepped inside, fiddling with her sleeves. So, you're really leaving? I am. She nodded slowly.